Whoa, 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 whoa. Why is that happening? Let me get the. Hello, everyone. Are we live? Are we live? What's going on today? Is a good day. It's Friday today. Hello, everyone. Happy to be here for the third episode of MattyTHINKS. Um, yeah, today is the story of I Get Paid. I Get Paid is a song we got coming out the 26th, but today is not about promoting that song or anything. It's more about talking about it's kind of the topics we cover on the show. And most of the topics we cover on this show, Matty Thinks, is what Matty thinks about the world and my experience with the world and the things that I think may be of value to other people. Because these things are experiences that I've gained from my trials, tribulations, failures, and successes. We started this record label in 2017, Wood Records Co., and we've been through a lot. COVID was obviously one of those times, the big C word. And after that, we got back into saying I approached my music personally. Now, again, music's kind of going to take maybe a secondary role going forward because I find that sharing my voice here on Matty Thinks is something that's more beneficial of my time. It's more valuable. I think I can provide more value if I can speak on my life more than I can get out of sharing music. Because again, the thing with music is a lot of people who make music are very promotional. And again, as yesterday's topic was all about people who want to be famous, and a lot of people, they want to be famous, so naturally gravitate towards things like film, and they gravitate towards things like music, because those are the two traditional avenues that people go to garner other individuals' attention. But sadly, those avenues have been very much over the last years gate kept, and at the same time, the value of those things have changed. So today, music and entertainment, when it comes to video and audio, are distributed on sort of indexed libraries, right? That you can pay a monthly fee and then you can get access to a large number of licensed films, and in the case of Spotify, all of the recorded music in history, essentially. With the exceptions of anyone who's pulled it or whatever in boycott. But for the most part, I love the Dan Kelly poster. Yes, Dan Kelly, he's a legend. Speaking of music, now that guy Dan Kelly, a small digression here, just to tell you about Dan Kelly. He's from a band called Fortunate Youth, and the reason he's actually really important to bring up right now, I'm glad that Plant-Based Jace over there mentioned him, because that guy travels the world in the old-fashioned music way. He's like a modern-day Tom Waits. And this is what I love about Dan Kelly, because Dan Kelly is someone who truly is a musician at heart. He doesn't do it. He doesn't do it to be famous. He doesn't do it for the attention. And it comes across. It really comes across in his performance. He's emotional. What I want you to do is, if you get a chance at some time later, obviously not right now because there's a lot of good things for me to tell you right now. So don't leave the video now because that's not what I want you to do. But maybe make a note of it. And take time to check out Dan Kelly, okay? This is not going to be someone that you're looking at you're going to Dan Kelly to open your heart and soul and then see what you find. Particularly his song, The Anthem, okay? That's what turned me on to Dan Kelly. It's actually a solo song that isn't through his band Fortunate Youth. But this man represents what music should be. He's a Rolling Stone, by definition. And when I met him, he is through and through for the message. Let me make an anthem for a soul who are gone. I mean, that's just that right there. It really, when you listen, it's hard not to bring a tear to your eye. So I'm glad that Plant-Based Jace brought up Dan Kelly, because as I'm speaking about music today, he couldn't stand more in contrast of what the modern music landscape is. And I actually had an artist in the studio who shall not be named. And I asked him, because he knows all about Dan Kelly. And I pointed at that poster right there, and I said, because he wants to make a hit, right? he wants to be number one, right? And I said, well, you're a musician, right? Now, there's a chance that you keep making music and that sort of ethereal hit that you're describing doesn't ever come. Now, are you okay with living a life like Dan Kelly, who's got plenty of bangers? We are not saying that Dan Kelly, Unfortunate Youth, and his solo career isn't full of bangers. By shout out, he's on a solo tour right now, or recently did. But I said, are you okay with where Dan Kelly is? Because Dan Kelly, by the way, is one of the happiest people I've ever seen, and he's fulfilled. And he was like, no, like, I want to be Sublime. I want to be Bradley. And I was like, okay. He's like, like What I Got. I'm like, okay, well, What I Got is not a reggae song. Like, I know you like that type of music and dub and stuff, but in particular, what you're discussing, What I Got is a single that is a interpolation of Lady Madonna by the Beatles. It couldn't in any way be a reggae song. And so the only reason you know of the dub and reggae music from Sublime is because of the massive exposure from What I Got. Loving is what I got. Yes, I remember that. That's, as I remember that. I know, I lost my voice. I was on my GoPed last week, on Sunday, literally listening to Lenny Kravitz, it ain't over, baby, till it's over. And I lost my voice because I was on my GoPed going, it ain't over, baby, till it's over. Screaming down the street, flying down, looking for a restaurant I could hide into to go like hit the bartender up, right? And people are like, as I go by, ended up running into an old high school friend when I got into that said pinball arcade, and that was interesting. Had been about a decade. It's funny to run into someone that you hadn't seen in a decade. And the funny thing about my life, in particular, is that when I was 20 years old and they were 20 years old, they were the ones who were going to be big shot. In their mind, they were going to college. I mean, I am a college graduate. Not saying that's even worth your time. But they were going to college. And you know what they always said? One day you're going to work for me. I'm like, no, you're not. It's like this. That's that old thing, like, be careful who you're mean to in school because you might work for them one day. That old ridiculous baby boomer expression that we all heard. Let me guess. Did your parents, I don't know if you had boomer parents, but did your parents walk to school in the snow up the hill both ways? How funny is that? Raise your hand if you've heard that. If you've heard I walked to school up the hill both ways in the snow. I had to carry my books in a belt and I'd fling it over my shoulder. I'm like, what were you, Oliver Twist? When did you grow up? So the point is that the music landscape and entertainment landscape has changed. A lot of what you experienced growing up, I'm not sure what your age is watching this, but let's talk about let's just say up until 2015, maybe, because 2015 is that's when the large bulk of it is shifting towards the librification of entertainment. And there's no money to be made. This is the catch-22 of what's going on in music and film right now, which is you pay $10, $20 a month per person for access to an amount of music or an amount of stuff, right? Now, what these people will do, when I say people, I mean like large production companies, big budget, like think of like Warner, think of these big guys that make all the stuff that you see on Netflix and all the songs that you hear coming out today on Spotify. What they need to do is dilute the product. They have to. If you release an album today with 8 songs on it, no. They released deluxe albums with 30 songs where, 18, 22, 24 of them are just filler tracks. And the same is true with Netflix. You go on Netflix and you're like, well, how come 9 out of 10 of the things are just like It's almost like the ChatGPT write the script. It's almost like, I mean, I'll be watching something on Netflix. There's this thing that's called, I'm not sure if you've heard of this. It's called the second screen. Writing for the second screen. This is a phenomenon going on right now at Netflix. So what Netflix is trying to do is they're writing the script now, knowing that Netflix is most likely in the background. So what Netflix is becoming is, tell me if you do this. See if this relates to you. Have you ever done this? You're watching TV, you put something on, and then you're almost actually on your phone and you're scrolling Instagram or YouTube and you're engaging with those types of socials. And in the background actually is the Netflix. It isn't really taking your number one attention. And so now Netflix, knowing that, is writing for the second screen. And so what they do is, instead of in the actual film, in the actual visual representation of what occurs, they're going to actually feed into the dialogue some of what you see on screen. That way your subconscious mind actually can follow the story. But what it does is, if you're sitting down and to watch it actually, and you're not second screening, you're like, it'll be like, I am your brother and I don't stand for this. You know what I mean? It'll be like, well, then I'm going to go right now and I'm going to go to the store and I'll come back. So they're going to dialogue what is to occur. Now, check out for this if you do watch something again, and you will see it. Because the second I read about this and then looked for it, I was like, oh my gosh, they are. They are writing for the second screen. And so sort of the dilemma that's occurring right now is this. And I'm in the trenches on this on a daily basis because I'm an independent, creator of things. I'm not saying I'm like a YouTuber or anything. This is our third day on the live show, by the way. Just to remind you, 5 days a week, 1 hour per day. That's 20 hours a month. That's 240 hours per year. We are going to be here 1 hour per day, MattyTHINKS. So just know that this is something you can rely on. In my fulfillment as a man, as we spoke in the first episode, is that I'm going to follow through on that commitment. Not only am I committing to you that I will be here for you, but I'm going to follow through on that. Okay. And if anything else happens, forsaking something happens to me, of course, unforeseen, there's nothing I can do that. But on the 31st, on our first episode, I came on and I was exhausted. If you guys remember, I was really tired and I did not want to do it, but I did it anyway because I told myself, look, you said you were going to do it. Now do it. It's the time in our lives that we need to get back to what is important. And that is what your word is. And that is eye contact. And that is surrounding yourself with people who are supportive. And that is also being supportive of others, though. That's I want to be honest. That is a tricky subject there. Giving support, you need to know why you're doing it. See, if you're supporting someone with the interest of them turning around and supporting you, don't do it. For one, they most likely won't. And two, if they do, they'll put fire emojis and not listen to the song. Not that that's your point. It comes down to intention. It comes down to the same concept of MattyTHINKS. MattyTHINKS is a couple themes. And the themes of MattyTHINKS, as we know in the first 2 episodes of our show, is that authenticity is key going forward. In a world where we're able to lie to everyone, in a world where we're able to represent ourselves in sort of the online facade, and then the crazy thing is now, we've actually allowed ourselves to take our online facade, the things we represent ourselves online, and we're kind of leaking it into our reality. Now remember, it started as a misrepresentation. So then not only are we going to sort of maybe over-embellish, over-represent ourselves online, naturally we're going to do that. Especially when others are doing that. So you find yourself naturally compelled in a competitive way to do the same. This is what's fascinating about human nature. Human nature, as I use the word in a lot the first 2 shows, is that it's mimetic. Human nature is very mimetic. It comes down to when you're a child. One of the first things you do as a child is you model behaviors of what you see. What else will you do? You don't know what to do. You are just a baby. And so all you can do is take in information. That information is absorbed like a sponge, as they say, one of those classic statements, your brain is a sponge when you're young. I think it's a sponge still, if you can make it a sponge. My brain is very spongy. I have taken my brain from being very, very rigid to very spongy in just since April of 2025. The amount of mental progress I have made since April 2025 to today is fascinating. Your brain has neuroplasticity. your brain can change. One of the things I did this year that dramatically changed the wiring of my brain, that dramatically made me look at the world in a different way, to give me an open eye, to make me be less upset, because I'm not secretly really an upset person. I'm a very joyous person. Was to do a fast. I'm not promoting anyone to do anything with your life. Of course, I do say if you're going to do anything, that's up to your own discretion. If you need to consult anyone, you need to consult. Of course, do that. I'm in no way advising anyone to do anything. I am saying for myself, I did do 75 hard, which I ended with a fast, or I did a fast somewhere in it. I can't remember. But there was a 3-day fast late into my 75 hard. Now, I didn't do 75 hard. I didn't even post about it. I didn't put on my Instagram. I only did 7. I didn't want to seem like one of those memey people that are like doing the trendy thing. I just, technically I just wanted to stop drinking. So I didn't like fully actively do the 75 hard. I didn't work out twice per day. I mean, I grinded, worked out heavy, did weights and stuff. And sometimes we would do also, light walks and jogs and maybe a tennis or a 2 a day. But the big concept of that was for me to stop drinking. And I did. That was the key, because that was my thing. And in that, I did a fast. And the reason I brought the fast up is because the fasting is very different than a calorie deficit or than an abstinence from things. Now, of course, the abstinence brought plenty of its value. But I do find that along with all of that, the fast was fascinating because when you don't put any nutrients into, not nutrients, you don't put any calories, you put no energy in the front door, your body begins to change the way that it consumes its resources. And so I'm no expert here. I'm only speaking from personal experience and, the light, summary opinion, knowledge we have of everything, surface level knowledge we can get today just using the internet. But the fasting allows your body to begin to consume some of the stored energy. So particularly the fat that is stored in your gut, which is known as visceral fat. When you diet with a deficit, you will be able to cut your subcutaneous fat, which is the fat just below your skin. That's the kind of stuff that may block your abs, things like that hides muscle definition. That's your subcutaneous. Now, there's another version of fat called the visceral fat, and that fat is stored around your organs and abdomens and things of the sort. Your stomach, the intestines. Icky word there. And that is what's responsible for sort of that. You get that kind of pot belly. You get that little beer gut. You'll see like a bodybuilder who has abs, but they look like they got a tortoise shell. Looks like it's Michelangelo, TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That tortoise shell comes from visceral fat. And the only way to get rid of visceral fat, from my experience, is fasting. Because your body consumes the visceral, and then it protects the muscle. Because when you cal deficit, it actually consumes both muscle and fat. But when you remove food completely, your body goes, wait, I can't get rid of the muscle. I need the muscle to acquire the food. So right now, I'm going to burn the stored fat. First, it wipes the glycogen and whatever the other words are. I don't want to get too specific because I'm not wearing a lab coat. If you're not wearing a lab coat, you can't talk from the rest of the episode. Would you look at that? Reference. If you ain't in a lab coat because you're talking about glycogen. So yeah, it preserves your muscle and eats the insides. I used to have a very, I had like a little beer gut. Because I used to, of course, with my Irish background in my troublesome 20s, was consuming a lot of alcohol. Okay? And I'm not going to hide from that. I'm not scared of that. I'm not scared to tell you that I was drinking too much alcohol. I don't believe in labels, by the way. I'm not going to say I, you, or anyone is an alcoholic or any of the sorts. What's going on, by the way? I'm using a lot of CPU. But yeah, that not drinking thing. I don't know why I was talking about that. Why am I losing my mind? See, every time I get distracted. We're working on the neuroplasticity, guys. We're working on the neuroplasticity. But yeah, I'm not afraid to say that I was drinking a lot of alcohol, and abstaining from that 75 hard. I don't know exactly what I was saying. Darn it, this happened yesterday, and I need to work on this. On sort of keeping my train of thought. This is quite difficult to do. Especially when you got all these things to follow. I'm the only guy sitting in here checking all the meters. I'm like, CPU 83, 83, don't go too high. 86, 86 CPU percentage. I'm like, oh my God, guys, 85. So back to the neuroplasticity. The point is that you can change your brain. That's literally all the point I was making, right? And so you want to change your brain, make it a sponge. And let's go all the way back to where we started, which is what they're doing with the music and entertainment now. I just want to take us all the way back to the beginning because I don't want to get too off the thing. So music is changing. It's all that. So they're devaluing, right? Okay. Now, the reason I bring that all up is because I, as a musician, was very frustrated. As a creator, very frustrated, having all this difficulty sort of like monetizing and materializing any sort of like momentum in this thing. And I'll tell you this now as well. Speaking of our themes of authenticity, if you're going to make music, one, it should not be your number one source of income because you get 0.4 cents per stream. If you have 1 million streams, that is $4,000. Okay, so you need 1 million streams per month to get $4,000, which is $48,000 a year, which is like less than the median income in America. All right, and 1 million streams a month is a lot. Yeah, or labels, exactly. The alcoholic. Thank you. I have my moderator helping me out about labels and all that and beer gut and those things. But yeah, okay, you get the point. You get the point. The point is that you can change. That's the point. So music doesn't make any money. So when you make music or you make art today, a lot of people are trying to, in the traditional market, do it the old-fashioned way where big budgets and big labels would buy distribution and put these big things onto you. But since the landscape changed and basically most of the sonic spectrum has been occupied. I mean, let's just talk about the fundamental concept here of music today, which is that there are so many songs that can be created. Think about it. Say you have 3 minutes of time. I mean, there's only so many variations of tones that can be played, presented, or melodized in that 3-minute period, with the majority of everything just being noise, cacophonous, right? And so, one, I mean, the Beatles, Tom Petty, Diana Ross, the Supremes, they all made all this music back in the day before any of us were alive, and they took some of that frequency space. So, I mean, even today, there's obviously it's harder. It's almost like, think about if you're mining Bitcoin, right? It gets more complex the more blocks you have to verify, right? And so it becomes more and more difficult to verify and mine more blocks. It's literally a exponential or a logarithmic it's just a logarithmic on rate of block mining because of the exponential difficulty, right? So that's the same thing is true in music. It's like now, I mean, to get to "You should go and love yourself," I mean, you got to do a lot. You got to be one heck of a songwriter to find something that isn't, oh, that sounds like that. Oh, that sounds like that. That really kind of walks its own line without being something else. So, that's why I state, if you are a creator, I think music should be treated as sort of another avenue of expression, but not necessarily an avenue of monetization or materialization. So that brings us to the story of I Get Paid, right? Which is where we are now. We have a song coming out 1/20/26. So January 20th, 2026, I Get Paid comes out. I can play a little preview today, by the way. I'll play the whole thing on here. I'm gonna once I tell you the story, I'm gonna play I Get Paid. Which again is not out yet, so that's exciting. A little preview of the song. It's with a dubstep DJ named Ash Me Outside. I don't want to tell you anything more about him besides his public name, because that would be inappropriate for me to do. So his public name is Ash Me Outside. It's the most I can tell you. He's a dubstep DJ who I work with. We released a Sun Tzu remix, which is a remix of one of my old songs, Sun Tzu. And we have this upcoming song, I Get Paid. And we are also on that other song, Fake Shit, that I had mentioned to you. Now, this is somebody I knew back in the day, somebody I knew since high school. And the truth is, when I started making music in like 2015, I started the label in 2017. So probably more on 2017 is when I was more serious. 2015, I was more like recording voice memos that are almost embarrassing to listen to. I reached out to many of my friends at the time who were becoming musicians or wanted to be DJs or whatever, and all of them were not interested in working with me. Right? Because everyone, as I stated yesterday, was going to do it on their own. They were going to become Calvin Harris. They were going to become David Guetta. They were going to become Post Malone all by themselves. But what you don't realize is that Post Malone and David Guetta and all these people, you're seeing the end product, right? You're not seeing the work and stuff that goes before. Either way. So I know this individual from back in high school. And then I reached out to him again back in 2017 when I wanted to make music when everyone was doing it, and that individual was not interested in making music with me. Now, zip up 10 years later, and we're in 2024, 2025, and I reached out asking to see, like, yo, you down to remix this track? We did Sun Tzu Remix, went really well, and then so we got to beat back up, and then we made a song that turned into Fake Shit, and then after that we made a song that is I Get Paid that comes out the 20th. The reason I bring this up is because when you go into making independent music, it's a bit like of a risky thing to do because there's no structure, right? There's no suits, there's no contract, there's no, guarantee that what you're doing is going to become anything and all of that. And what ends up happening is, this is the really, really, really unfortunate thing that's frustrating with collaborations when making independent music. And I'll tell you this now. And if you're an independent music creator, listen to me now, because I'm telling you something that's going to help you. If you take my guidance, it has nothing to do with not doing collaborations. It has to do with coming into a collaboration and being transparent and communicative up front about, who does what. Okay? Who's mixing it? Who's releasing it? One person has to release it. You can't both release it. Someone has to literally upload it. So who's literally uploading it? Okay? Who's shooting the music video? Who's mixing the song? All right? Who's writing the lyrics? It's not that like we have to assign them up front, but it has to be kind of like understood, because here's what happens. And this is what I want not to happen to you, because it happened to me and it's happened so many times. What independent artists will do, particularly when they didn't do the bulk of the heavy lifting. This is the key. What happens is the person that lifts the heavy weights gets controlled by the other collaborator. It's happened to me with multiple collaborations. It's happened to me with my Conscious records. It's happening now with the Ash Me Outside records. It's happened with records of artists you don't even know I worked with, because they're literally vaulted. I made a song with this Conscious guy. Me and Conscious have like 12 songs that are vaulted forever. Right? Think about this. You do a collab. We'll speak about being conscious. Then we'll get back to I Get Paid, and then I'll show you the preview. Okay? We got time. Conscious and I dropped 6 records. Now, Conscious and I have 12 records that are unreleased, right? So the majority of our music you've never heard. And the unreleased stuff is so much better than the released stuff. But what happens is when it starts to get good, that's the key, is when the song's good. That's the crazy thing. This is what happens. Let me explain it to you. You want to collab. They have no expectation that it's going to be any good. You lay down heat, right? They're in the room for the heat you laid. Now they own half the record. Not automatically, but you need to establish this in advance. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. So with Conscious, I was the producer. That means that the beginning of the music starts with me. It starts with me, meaning I'm the producer, right? So I go like, do you like... Do you like that? Do you like any of these things? just random things I'm playing, right, in C major. And they go, ooh, I like that, I like that. So you start making a song. You lay that down. Now you got that loop playing, right? Or we stretch it out. I don't believe in doing loops. I'd prefer if you play it all the way out. Little pro tip right there, play it out. If you're having any difficulty sequencing your songs from left to right, build left to right. Just a quick pro tip to let you know if you're new to producing. Do not loop and repeat. No. So you build the song. They're back there like this. They're on their phone. They're writing it. Or they're doing this. If you're lucky, he writes it down. Or she, but they don't. They put it in their phone. And then, right? It's half each other's songs. Now, what if their verse sucks? You know, like, it becomes both of your songs. And then, okay, I want to release the song next week. Song sounds great, bro. Love it. Right? Let's release it next week. No, I'm actually going to build it. I'm actually planning on making an album, and this is going to be the single on my album. So when I finish the album, then we'll release the song. I'm like, wait, okay, but I want to release it next week, and it's my beat. Like, forget your lyrics. Forget your lyrics. Like, I'll wipe your lyrics off. I'll spit the verses. But now you have this weird, awkward thing, right? I mean, I could drop all the Conscious records if I wanted to. I mean, I made all the stuff. I could literally take all of his lyrics of the few he recorded off of it and just drop it myself. I made the beat. I don't need your lyrics I don't even like anyway. But now it's like both of your songs. And so now I have like tons of amazing production that I've made that's like not mine, even though it could be mine. But what am I going to do? Go drop it? I mean, I still talk to the guy sometimes. So all I do is like end that, like, you know, kind of unwind that relationship and go back to making my own stuff, even though I just dumped all this creative energy into this. And now I got to start again. And I just gave up what could be really good stuff. Like, who says I'm going to come up with better stuff than that? And it's not saying that you can't, but it's just like, when you get this creative pressure and it comes from, you know, selfish people and you're the one doing the bulk of the lifting, you're like, what are we talking about here? How come you're always the loud one? How come the person doing the least is always the loudest? How come the person who contributed the least is always making the rules? They wrap their arms around your thing because they know that you are the one doing it. So they hang on and go with you like this. That's what happens. They catch on to you and they try to pull you like this and tie you down like that. You're not going anywhere without me. Get it? And so you have this choice. And so my choice has always been to be the bigger man, blah, blah, blah. But every time it bites me in the ass because my kindness is mistaken for weakness. And I'm the kind of guy who's not dishonest. I'm also very humble. All right? I'm not very arrogant. So like if you have a line and I don't love it, like I'll put it. I'll say, okay, that's fine. Even though I think it could be better or whatever. And I'll offer you why I think it can be better sometimes. And usually they say no because of course they got to contribute something to the record. Even if it's shit. If it's their shit, at least they added something. If it's more fire, but you did it all, then they've done nothing. Right? So they become like a weight at your ankle. They become a shackle, actually. And they take the work you did and lock it up. That's what happened with I Get Paid. That's what happened with Fake Shit. That's why these records were made last year and you haven't heard them yet. Like, because selfish people lock them up. And they don't care about what you want. Because the one thing they don't want is you to be successful without them. Because then they have to be reminded every day of that. So you can't drop it because it's a hit. It's a hit, so don't drop it. This is literally a discussion. I could show you text. I'm not going to because that's not right. Because at least I still have etiquette. I'm not going to do that. Even if you've wronged me, I'm still not going to turn around and wrong you. Because that's not my character. I don't do that. So then what I have to end up doing is I have to end up taking on the burden of all of that. I have to eat that. I have to eat that. You know I already have a trouble drinking. You put that pressure on a man who's open. I'm open, man. I put my heart and soul in everything that I do. Everything that I do has my heart and soul into it. I dump it into people. I dump it into everything. And these people, especially if they're hurting, or especially if they feel small, or if they're not doing what they need to do, they're going to burst your bubble. And it's going to hurt. And you're going to fall on the ground. And you're going to be in pain. I was walking through Publix today. It felt like I had a death in the family. Because that's my baby that just died. Because I put everything into it. I'm getting a little bit of fuzz here. So it feels almost like losing a child. I know that sounds ridiculous. I know it's not, you're not losing a child. It's a metaphor. But like, that's the pit. It's heavy. You're like this. And you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. It's a strange feeling. It's complex. What do I do? It's so complex. This is the plight of you and I today. Me and you. All right? The generation before us didn't have to struggle with this. The generation before us was action, result. That's not necessarily true today. Today is about, in my opinion, today what you need to do is be very reductive. You need to be very simplistic. You need to look around at your life and you need to remove the things. And then that you'll be able to see. I was telling my fiance yesterday that I feel, she said to me, this is her word. She said, I feel like you're like this. That's just like, that's like the motion she made. As I did in the first episode, I was like, guys, the flame is welcome to the Thunderdome, bitch. Right? I felt so big on that first episode because I was so excited for us, right? And since that first episode, I've gotten hit with more daggers, man. I've taken more shots. I'm in the trenches taking shells over here since the first episode. It's only been 2 days. More shells coming in, dude. And I've been unwinding. I've been unwinding as much as I can, but they still keep coming. You know what's hard to do is things that unwind. It is so hard to unwind things. So the boomer's life is action result. That's not the plight of the millennial. All right? And Zoomers is to be discovered, by the way. Let's not speak yet on Zoomers because we don't exactly know yet where that's going. Okay? Because when you're 20, you're 20. Also, remember, we have pushed this. 20 is not the same as it used to be. Everything is pushed. The NCAA has a 30-year-old wide receiver this year. I think it's Nebraska has a 30-year-old wide receiver in the NCAA. The way that we lived our life is changing. Everything is pushed. Okay, so the 20-year-old is like a 10-year-old now, and a 30-year-old is like a 20-year-old. When it comes to life experience and where you ought to be by that age relative to the previous generation, it's getting pushed. So the plight of the millennial, which I will tell you now because we're in the center of it. Because I'll tell you this if you're 20 years old right now. Let me tell you this right now, okay? And I'm not telling you as the unky. I'm 31, by the way. Gee, you better hope you're 31 one day. And when you're 31, you're going to go, holy shit. How did I get here so fast? And I was the kid. I know you hear me and I know you hear. I know what you hear because I was you. And I know you've heard that. This is, it's so funny. Life is so, oh my God, I'll tell you about life. This is what's on MattyTHINKS. Is you think you know everything, and I know it when I talk to a young person, and I'm young still, so I don't really care about your opinion of my age. At 31, I'm young, okay? And you ain't gonna make me feel old, baby. I lost 25 pounds this year. I did 75 hard. If you want to feel young like that, I'll show you how. I'll show you how not to feel old. I got 31-year-old friends that are grandpas. They done given up on their life. And it's everybody I know. I don't know a single person in my life. Now, they're out there. I personally don't know them. I would love to know them. That's part of why I'm out here in my lighthouse at my radio station. This is John Connor. This is the resistance. You're here. This is the resistance. Thank you for joining. You have met the resistance. You've made it. You're here. Now stay, listen, learn, and apply. And if it doesn't work, fuck MattyTHINKS. Forget Matt Ryan. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Fine, but give it a shot. Before you reflex reject what I'm telling you, before you just in your mind say, oh, 31 unk. I had a 26-year-old call me old. I'm like, gee, we're 5 years apart. I know that's a light year for you guys, and I know light year is a distance. Can't get me there. Can't catch me with a kung fu. Ba, 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 ba. So thank you, you've joined the resistance. The point is, you think you know everything when you're 20, and I was 20, and I knew everything. I knew everything. And I've done a lot since then, bro, and I've learned a lot since then. So I'm telling you, dude, just take a second and open for 1 second and just give it a shot. Let that information go in your head. Let that information kind of sit there. Don't even think about that information. Okay? So, I get paid. You want to see the album cover? You want to see the album cover? You want to see the album cover? I think I got it on here. Oh, that's not it. That's the promotional material. The promotional material. Oh my God, I was trying to get the hoodies today. Next time. We'll talk about it. I get the hoodies Monday, so we'll talk Monday. I'll be back Monday. Let's get the I Get Paid cover. It's so fire, dude. Your boy. Check this shit stuff out. Can you see that? It's so weird because everything's inverted. You can't really see it. I'm going to learn how to screen share on here too. Don't you worry. I'll learn how to screen share. And we're going to play that song in just a moment. Don't you worry. That's the I Get Paid cover. So yeah. What happened is that got pushed. That was made last year. And then it just put a strong strain on the relationship between me and the individual that I made it with. And there's not much you can do because you have to make a choice in your life. And that's who, you gonna let them step on you? How long? How long are you gonna let them step on you? How long? It's up to you to decide. I made a decision. I made my decision. Nobody's telling me what to do. What are you gonna do? This is really liberating, by the way. Call out the bluff. Call them on their bluff. Call them on their bluff. It may be hard for you to grow the courage to do it, but if you got those balls and you got that courage, call them on their bluff. And do it right. Don't say, hey, Timmy, give me that back. Give it back. Now. Give it to me. Like that. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Not, give it to me. You gotta mean it when you say it. Okay? You gotta mean it when you say it. Call them on their bluff. Oh, watch them panic. Watch them squirm. Squirm. As they go to grasp the ever falling edges. And the surfaces they're trying to grab are smooth surfaces. They're smooth surfaces. This is them. Ah! This is me. Because there's nothing to hold on to. You are floating. You are in a void. There's nothing to grab onto. That's what that, and I release you. And I release you. Just like in Dinner for Schmucks. I release you. And the second you're okay, the second you go, the second that pit in your stomach, as you're skydiving, goes, ah, and then you reach free fall. When you reach free fall, oh, you feel weightless. You feel weightless because you finally realized there's nothing to grab onto. Everything external is an illusion. There's nothing to grab. You're floating. And that's the state I'm in. Now, I get knocked around sometimes. I ain't perfect yet. I'm new to this, man. April 2025, I made that big step. April 2025, I made that big step. I took my life into my own hands. And what I was telling you is that I cut the trees. Remember I told you that my fiance said, I don't know, you kind of been like this, like the last week. You kind of been like this. I said, yeah, because I cut all those trees. I cut all those trees that were shading me. And now my little sprout got sunlight. And now my little guy's going like this. There was no oxygen down there. Oh, thank God, I'm out from under the ground. Oh, the sunlight. Oh, my face is warm. Oh, I cut the trees down. I cut the trees down. I'm getting sunlight. Because until you cut that tree down, you're never going to get any light. Until you cut down that tree, you're never going to get any light. And nobody gives a shit about your pain. Because they're in pain too. And they want you to hurt too. If they're hurting. And your girl's mad when you did something wrong. Not if she's the right one, but if she's the wrong one, she's going to make you hurt too. She's going to make sure that you hurt too. If you hurt her, she's going to hurt you. That's what humans got to do. They got to get retribution. They got to get payback. Why? It's human nature. I ain't fighting it. I'm not fighting human nature anymore. We are humans. We are creatures of habit. We are animals. We are emotional. We're unstable. We don't know what we want. We don't know what we want. We don't know what we want. We don't know. That's why we talk. That's why we listen. That's why we listen. You tell me a story, please. I'm having a rough day. Just tell me a story, please. So I want you to be free. I want you to get light. You got shadows in your life. You got people standing over you. You got people wagging their finger in your face. You walk the other way. You cut down that tree. And you grind that stump. And if it sprouts up, you grind it back down. And don't go reach back out to them and try to set boundaries and all that stuff. They'll come back. If it's right. So, I say, you and me, we turn around and we play that I Get Paid song now. How about we play that I Get Paid song right now? You and me. We're going to listen to it. Because you're here, and you're taking the time to listen to me and talk to me and hang out with me, and I'm hanging out with you. Maybe you're at work, you know? Maybe your boss said, did you get the memo? Did you get the memo? That'd be great, yeah. Let's put that on my desk, that'd be great. You go, I'm watching MattyTHINKS. I'm watching MattyTHINKS is on, boss. MattyTHINKS is on, and this is my time with him, and him and me. We hanging out. I get paid. Here it comes. We're going to try to, I don't know, like, if I should just play it in the room, or I'm going to get this set up. Hope that's attached to my phone. I had my Bluetooth off. Oh, my Bluetooth's on. I got my Bluetooth on. It's attached. So, I don't even know if I have the final mix. I don't even know where the heck it is. This is a good point. The good news is, I might have like some sort of like version of it that might work. So the good news is I can probably just play like, yeah, this is like a master here, I think. So I'll just play this. I don't know if it's a final or anything. It might be. I think this is the final wave, actually. So we're about to play the upcoming song, I Get Paid, that comes out on January 20th, 2026. And I told you a little bit. I didn't tell you much of the story. I like to give you kind of the emotion side of it. Kind of what really happened. You know, the weird thing is, like, someone can say, like, this happened and this happened and this happened and this happened. And you don't really know anything. You kind of just know, like, the plot. But you don't know what the story's about. Don't tell me what happens. Tell me what it's about. Teacher ever say that to you, your teacher? You go, what's the story about? You go, well, his name's Gary, and he goes to college in Indiana, and then, oh, shout out Indiana, by the way. Lots of love. That team, I don't love the U. I just live down here. I'm not really a big U fan, but woo-wee, Indiana might be taking that championship. You know why? Unity, family, God. Not God, but like faith. Faith. They got faith in whatever. Again, I'm not like pushing anything. I'm just something higher. Something higher is the idea. Some sort of like, we are humans. We are not, we are not gods. We are humans. We are not gods. So we don't know why we're here. And I know you don't know why we're here, because nobody knows why we're here. And nobody knows what happens when we die, and no one knows where we were before we were born. Okay? So all of us are subservient to that. We have to be. Because you don't know. So you have to be. Obviously. So I get paid. By the way, Gary V at the intro. Shh.
You need a wardrobe for when you have no money. Why do you have 16 fucking shirts and 19 sneakers and 11 different pairs of pants and fucking 9 handbags when you have no fucking money? Money.
Because I get paid. Use $100 bills for the sunshade, my big ball in the hallway. When the price too much for the high grade, I worry about the math, bitch, because I get paid. Got my own set of life with a call made, brand new jet gassed up on a runway. We can fly from LA to Bombay, just know I got the funds, yeah, because I get paid. Yeah. Hey, my chain is swing so low, she wanna play with it. My blade chain, you look like Johnny Dang did it. Front lawn, stay wet all day. On point, 3 pounds on the way. My life, but the way it was supposed to. Your life can't speak in the boardroom. You talk, they walk, let me show you. I swing meat 6-7 in the cold room. And I drink champagne all day. It's high price, but a bubble I pay. But I only got one problem. What's that? Got money in the bank, but I can't take it out. Why not? Cause all these hoes want high price clothes, but I still gotta buy blow for my nose. Cause I get paid. Use $100 bills for the sunshade, my big ball in the hallway. When the price too much for the high grade, I worry about the math, bitch, cause I get paid. Got my own set of life with a call made, brand new jet gassed up on a runway. We can fly from LA to Bombay, just know I got the funds, yeah, because I get paid.
That's Ash Me Outside. He's killing it. Laying the synths. Ash Me Outside.
Because I get paid.
It's like a workout song.
Because I get paid.
You need a wardrobe for when you have no money. Why do you have 16 fucking shirts and 19 sneakers and 11 different pairs of pants and fucking 9 handbags when you have no fucking money?
Whoo! Hey, plant-based Jays. That was a lot. Oh, God. Exclusive sneak preview. I'm jumping up and down. I've been like getting my resources back. I only did like the Stairmaster this week, and it's like 3 degrees here in Florida for some reason. So my cardio is not where it needs to be. Oh gosh, so that's how I get paid. It comes out the 20th, and it's not about getting paid, it's a satire. Because I don't get paid. Because I don't get paid. It's about how we're all getting squeezed. The real message of the song is that it's a satire. We don't get paid. We're all getting ripped off here by Netflix, giving us nonsense. Amazon, Lowe's. I went to Harbor Freight. Great. Lowe's ripping you off. I mean, they've been paying us the same wage for the last 10 years. They've been paying us the same amount of money. They haven't started paying us money. Where the fuck is the money? That's what I get paid's about. Where's the money? But it's a joke. It's a complete inversion. It starts with Gary Vaynerchuk, hustle and grind. The fuck do you need a wardrobe for? You have no money. And he's always on his Instagram like yelling at everyone. And my excuse for Excuse me for some of the F-bombs on the thing today. I don't usually use a lot, but, you know, when you're feeling it. But Gary Vee is always yelling at everyone on the internet, and so he's like, what are you doing spending money you don't have? And I'm like, because I get paid, and I got my own satellite for the call, man. Brand new jet gassed up on the runway, you know? So no, I don't have my own satellite, and I don't have a brand new jet gassed up on the runway. But it's fun, you know? How fun is it to sing about as if you do? You might as well. I'm probably never going to have a jet gassed up on a runway, and I don't even care if I do or don't. Because I get paid. And in the world, if I get paid, I'm a millionaire, baby. You know? Because it's so tough these days. We're all so divided. You know, I might as well fantasize about it, and maybe I can fantasize into real life. Again, I'm not materialistic. I just want us all to be jumping together, singing I Get Paid. I want all of us jumping, singing I Get Paid. And we will get paid. We're going to affirm that stuff. Okay? And I want to sing it all together and shout and jump and have a good time. Just because it's like before the sun goes down, guys. Before the sun goes down, you know? You don't know what the future holds, so party today. All right? Scream, I get paid today. I get paid, baby. You know, how fun is that? So, I Get Paid. It drops January 20th, 2026. My artist name is MattyInk. My human government name is Matt Ryan. Technically Matthew Ryan, but I don't know. Matthew Ryan is so like boring. I don't like it, so I just say Mara. That's what I used to say when I drank too much. Mara, hey Mara. That's what you go. Hey Mara, that's what you. Hey Mara. Now I'm jumping up and down to songs that I made up. But shout out Ash Me Outside for dropping the synths in there and doing the bass beat, making the beat and all that stuff. First time I wasn't the guy making the beat for the first time ever. That was kind of cool. So shout out Ash Me Outside on that. No matter what happens with anything in our lives, I give credit where credit's due. No matter what. Doesn't matter how I stand with anybody. I give credit where credit's due. That's a guarantee. That's what I do. 100%. 100%. Because I'm not gonna be bitter. I'm not gonna be mad. I ain't gonna spend my time angry about anything. Trust me. Trust me, dog. The only thing that breaks my heart, get that, not mad, heartbroken, disappointed. You know, come on. Why don't you? I can't make you grow with me. I can't make you stretch with me. You know, I can't. I can only, I can only show you the way. They say you can take the horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. And if you're holding me down, or you're shackling me like that, I gotta let you go. You can come with me though. There's a better way. Follow me this way. Come with me. They go, but it's scary. I go, I know it's scary. That's why I'm going. I know it's scary. That's why. That's how. I don't want to say the world. It's kind of like annoying. It's kind of how I should say the challenges of life are presented. Is anything that's worth doing, that's worth your time, is going to come with challenge. And when you're met with challenges, you're on the right path. So today, before we started my live show, MattyTHINKS, episode 3, I lied on the floor and I asked for strength. You might have some trees to cut down yourself. True. You might have to cut some trees down yourself. That's true, because I can show you the way, but those big trees are still holding shade over your head. Good point. Thank you. Good point. Even if you try to grow, if you don't have sunlight and you're sitting under a tree that's putting shadow on you, whether that's your mother, your father, your girlfriend, your brother, your sister, your boss, you got to cut the tree down first. And that's part of the story of today, okay? We're wrapping it up today. Thank you so much. I will be back on Monday. And I will be here with MattyTHINKS. We got 5 episodes next week. And an hour a day live every single day. Thank you for coming by. I cannot wait to see you next week. And as always, guys, remember,